Okay, so on today's session, we're going to be watching over Daigo the Beast versus Noble. I do think the sound is a little bit loud, so we're going to turn it down a little bit. So this interaction right here, I want to know. Hold on. Why is my thing not playing? There you go. Notice how in this situation here, he didn't fold and try to grab out the situation. What you find yourself happening is that you'll try and tech out the situation and your opponent will jump, he'll bait you out, and then you get hit with a falling heavy punch for your troubles. So you want to make sure that you're preventing something like this from happening. Okay, notice how he's being patient in the corner. He's not trying to instantly jump out or try to get out the situation. He's accepted that he's in the corner and making sure that he's wow, even that was a bold decision by Noble. Unfortunately, he couldn't react for it. Okay. He baited well. So he's able to successfully bait out his opponent, and it went well. Okay, then we do our typical target combo, right? Anytime we get our low forward combo, we want to make sure that we're taking them to the corner straight once they're in the corner. So mind you, this is something that a lot of you guys don't know, is that after you get this run Tatsu, you actually get 2 dashes. So you get double dash in the corner, and then from there you can grab or you can go for a button. Noble did go for a backdash, which got him out the situation, but just keep that in mind, okay? Okay, your typical hit. Now the reason why Noble went for this is because he needed the meter back, and it'll give him the health boost or the health advantage so that we're closer to killing. Unfortunately, he didn't check the dash there. Guys, drive rush dash, instant drive rush dash. I'm telling you, it's the sauce of life. If you start getting your drive rush dashes, it is so good for you. You got to make sure that you're incorporating this into your gameplay, and you can press it from relatively far out and you can still get the confirm off of it. Unfortunately, he didn't get the confirm off of it, but in most cases you do get the confirm. Okay, it's the sauce of life, guys. Okay, so one thing that you guys need to note as well is the fact that in this game you're only allowed 1 fireball on the screen at any given moment. Okay, so what happens is if you try and press a fireball after he's jumped over it, it will technically not go off. Okay, so this is also how people circumvent dealing with Guile, but then the better Guiles will just walk up with their fireball and go from there. Oh, you got hit by the light kick. Yeah, you played pretty well. Let's see how the next one goes. Drive rush dash. You see, no matter what button you decide to drive rush cancel out of, no matter what button you decide to do so off of, it's always going to be drive rush jab. The reason why, because drive rush jab just gives you plus frames and it gives you that mix immediately in their face. So you can either go for throw, you can go for medium punch, you can go for anything. Not any option obviously, but any option like crouching medium punch or whatever have. That's a good whiff punish. He missed his combo, unfortunate, but it's okay. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, that DI was kind of insane. So this is the thing about drive rush off of throws, is because it's particularly strong, right? And the moment it hits here, you have to do some sort of guessing, right? And I'm not saying guessing in a bad way, I'm saying guessing in a realistic way. Because you get knocked down here, you have to guess between him doing crouching medium punch, which is plus as well, by the way, especially off of drive rush, and then you have to guess off the situation, and if you try to mash on the situation, you get hit, right? So here he can't just wildly jump out, right? A lot of you guys in gold and in platinum and some of you in silver will see a situation like this and will try to jump out the situation, right? The reason why he backdash like this is so that he's in that optimal space to whip or anti-air you if you try to jump. So if you try to go this way and try to jump, he's ready to anti-air you. If you just try to raw drive rush out the corner, guarantee you this leg right here is going to light kick you into a punish. Okay, even if you try to do drive rush jab, that's why it's super important. All right, keeping your opponent trapped in the corner. And the thing too is that you might be wondering, oh, why isn't he in his face? The reason why is because one bad decision or one jump, despite being anti-aired, will get him out of the corner. So it's better to give them a little bit of extra ground as opposed to have them side switch where you have to fight for your life. Okay, he's kind of fighting for him to break him. This is ID. Okay, let me go back here. So the idea here is to force him to try and block a situation. The reason why is because you want him to burn out. That's the situation we're trying to face or trying to get. But ideally, your opponent is going to make that very difficult for you. So in order to kind of do it in a way we're not throwing the game or risking the entire game to do so, he's throwing fireballs, right? And he's trying to close in the range. Noble is trying to actively stop that. He does get whiff punished, and even look at his routing. His routing here technically doesn't give you all that much reward. But the idea there, EX Jinrai will not give you too much. But with that being said, it will definitely burn him out. So that's why he went for it. Noble, on the other hand, knew what the intention was and tried to go for a button to kind of interrupt the idea. And as a result, he hasn't burnt out. So here he has burnt out, but at least he burnt out on his own terms. Because the worst situation you can find yourself is that you get burnt out and you got knocked down. Because if you get burnt out and you got knocked down, now you have to guess for game. Now you have to either A, try to go ahead and super, or B, try to block out the situation, wait for him to try and DI, or wait for him to do something fake and then try and super him. The super is your only invincible option at this point. Ooh, I think that was a buffer issue. Remember guys, no one's above the buffer issue. Okay, drive rush jab again. Now he has to be a little bit more mindful of where he decides to drive rush cancel because it'll burn himself out. But one thing I want you to know is that even though he has used his drive rush cancel, he's not being completely inactive. Okay, pressing buttons in the neutral is technically not a bad thing. It allows you, if you're hitting them or making them block, aka making them block, then you are gaining more drive gauge. Look how much drive gauge he gained in this sequence. Okay, just being active. He got nearly back to 5 bars after spending 3. Okay, now this decision, not my favorite decision from Noble, but with that being said, it gives him a big lead. And the idea here is to, number 1, get a big health lead. Okay, number 2, he doesn't want to hold on to level 3 the entire time, because if you go into a round, like, you want to spend it so you win this round, but you also want to spend it early so that you ideally you go to the next round, and you want to go into the next round with some sort of meter. If you're not going into the next round with some sort of meter, then you're going to be struggling, right? Because once you're at 3, you don't make any more, and his goal obviously is to win the round. So if he wins the round, he'll at least go into the next round with 1, like he did, like so. So now it's entirely possible for him to build level 2, and if he decides to level 3 late game, it's also possible as well, as opposed to him holding the level 3 and maybe closing out the second round. Okay, Early spend is for the same idea, because we want to spend a little bit early, because if we find ourselves in a situation where we're burnt out, we will at least have gained 1 meter while simultaneously doing around 40 to 50% of his health, right? We want to spend a little bit early, get that health lead. On top of which, it puts him in the corner, although you could have done that regardless. So this is option number 2. Okay, so what Daigo has been doing thus far is drive rush, button drive rush, jab, and to throw. He's been doing that a lot. Okay, now Noble has gotten accustomed to him doing that, so now what he can do is they can walk back out of the situation and whiff punish him for it. And GG's. Oh yeah, this is optimal. Cost of platinum, keep it simple, just kill him. Don't do all that extra joints, because if you try to do all that extra joint, it's not gonna work out. Okay, also again, being mindful of the fact that he no longer has access to button drive rush is really important in your gameplay. Unfortunate. So a lot of your opponents, especially when it comes to your diamond opponents are going to do something like this, and I want you to be really prepared for it. Okay, so what will happen is that they will anticipate you trying to do something on their wake up, so they're going to try and perfect parry it. So what they'll do is that they'll parry, acknowledge the fact that you're not nowhere near them for the parry. Once that happens, they're gonna try and drive rush off of it. At that point in time, we want to be ready for it. How do we get ready? We get ready with one of our best buttons, right? If it's Luke, it's crouch and medium punch. Well, a lot of characters have really good crouch and medium punches, and it depends if you're fighting DJ. If you're fighting DJ or Jury, those ones are a little bit faster, so you might want to use a faster button like your standing light kick. Yep, now you got him teching. So he spent all of that time in the early rounds conditioning him to think a certain way. So now that he's thinking a certain way, aka trying to tech a lot of throws, now we start baiting those throws and whiff punishing him for it. Yep, so this is an anti-Jinrai strat, guys. If your opponent goes for Jinrai, let's say you're trying to close out a situation. If your opponent tries to Jinrai, okay, what you can do is, if you have a reversal or even a super on deck, block the first hit of Jinrai and then use your invisible option, and it'll win regardless. Let's say he tries to stop, it'll still punish counter. If he tries to go for light kick afterwards, aka the low, you get the punish counter. If he goes for the overhead, he gets the punish counter. If he goes for the finisher kick, the heavy version, it's punish counter as well, right? Okay, here he's in really good standing because he's burnt out, but he can't be really random with it, because otherwise your opponent's going to take advantage of it and level 1 him or whatever have you. So he's not being too overtly patient or overtly aggressive in these cases, because if you just run at your opponent is going to be ready with a button for it. That was a really good reaction. It's something that you can do pretty consistently if you try for it, or if you're hyper focused on it. It can be baited, however, but it is a good option to do. Yep. This is something as well, guys. If you get this counter hit here, you can go for a light kick DP. Okay, so what you can do is that you can press forward light kick into quarter circle forward heavy. So what it gives you is that it'll give you the forward input buffered already, so you don't have to put in the forward down forward input. So you press forward and light kick because it'll give you the same input anyway, and you press quarter circle forward heavy punch and it'll give you DP. Unfortunately, he tried to bait the throw, but he was a little bit too close. That was a good tech. Light kicks to scope the scene. You see how he went for the bait again, but he's kind of shown this hand a couple too many times, so now he's back to trying to adapt. So now if Daigo notices this, he can start going back to actually I want to talk about this interaction here. So if Daigo notices this, readjusts his game plan so he can go for drive rush, jab into throw again. That's how you kind of keep the balance of that. Okay, I do want to talk about this situation here. Okay, although it is good knowledge the fact that you can DI this, it is not recommendable when Noble or when the Luke player has level 3. When you get higher up in the scales, your opponent will level 3 you, and it is about 45 to 50% of your health. Okay, you cannot make that mistake. You have to keep that in mind. Either A, you try to interrupt it a little bit early by using a delayed light kick, or B, you just try to perfect parry the situation. Because you do not want to get hit by a charged one. Okay, now he's got in the corner, not doing anything too hasty. See how he's trying to bait him. DI me, I dare you to. Okay, for Noble is one button, it doesn't matter. Yep, into level 3 and you die. Or he's gonna level 1 for courtesy reasons. That's also good as well. Let us watch the next round. Okay, unfortunately got hit by the heavy punch, which is perfectly fine. Notice how he's not folding on defense, right? Sometimes it's okay to take some throws. It's worth it to take some throws, because if you keep trying to break out of situations, you're gonna get hit eventually. Okay, when your opponents get better, don't tech them. He teched them there. He definitely teched them then. Unfortunate. So the reason why this was particularly good for Noble was because he just didn't have enough to survive the situation, right? Here he would have to level 3, and it's kind of hard to do so on the fly like this, right? If he got it like that, he got it like that, but outside of that, most likely he does. So that's pretty much all for this YouTube video. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you like the content, please give a subscription, because it goes a long way to help the channel. Anyways, guys, any questions?